The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
And thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. My name's Clive. I am back from vacation. However, Ricky is away this week to Manchester, so I'm joined by friend of the show, Rance of Outsider's Edge. Good evening, Rance.
I want to start. Good evening, first and foremost. I want to start the rumor that you and Ricky got beef, and y'all can't be in the same room together anymore.
Oh,
can I start that?
Yeah, you can start it right now. We're actually having a beef on Facebook right now because he's got some interesting fashion choices again.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but if I could only imagine, my boy, I've seen enough. When he told both of us that he wanted to wear, he wanted everything that the Dream wears, Velveteen Dream wears, like he would rock that. I was like, I know everything I need to know.
Well, tonight's choices, if you remember Hellraiser, the film Hellraiser?
Yeah.
Well, imagine Hellraiser wore dress shoes.
Oh my God. Okay, I have to see this. So yes, I'm going to look at this while we get started on this pod, because my God, I can only imagine.
I've got another song for you for this week. It feels like, I know it's only been 2 weeks since I've done a podcast, but the vacation was a nice long 10 days. It feels like it's been a while since I've been on, so I'm back, and I'm better than ever.
Got a knack, yeah.
Good old Bischoff.
Well, for the record, we missed you.
Thank you.
I want you to know that.
You found them yet?
I saw it, dog. Yeah, did you see me just put my phone down? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy. Hey, if there's one thing young Ricky does not need any more of, it is confidence, because he has all of it.
He should have a t-shirt that says 0 fucks given.
That's really, that should be that's his life motto, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm. That and hashtag 10.
Yeah, he's the perfect 10. Ty Dillinger stole it from him.
Ty Dillinger's a 9 now.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I've got a joke for you that I just thought off the top of my head.
Okay.
This is going to sound really bad, just like shit. What would Ty, like the perfect 10s, you know, some matches have like a motto, like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg was Fantasy Warfare. Well, if the perfect 10 was in a cage match, it would be called the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, I told you I missed you, right? Right? This is the stuff I missed. Dillinger Escape Plan, oh God. Okay.
So, speaking of cage matches, Extreme Rules pay-per-view happened on Sunday night there.
Yes.
Do you know, it was one of those ones was just coming back from vacation that day, so I was unable to see much of the social media surrounding it. So I was going in a wee bit blind, if that makes sense, in terms of not having an opinion told to me beforehand. I thought it was not bad, started off well. That's one of the things that the WWE pay-per-views do mostly well, is the pay-per-views start off good booking, good sensible booking, good matches, interesting stuff, and then it tapers off. I don't think that happened to much this time. The Nakamura winning the US title was a nice shock squash match, as it were.
Right.
God, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. What was the first match? I know this wasn't the first match, but Finn Balor defeated Constable Corbin, who, as for all intents and purposes, now a sort of comedy act. One of the guys who's just there to take a beating, as it were.
It seems like it. The first match was B Team and the Leaders of Worlds.
Yes, that's right. The one thing I wanted to say about that was Curtis Axel may have come out with the catchphrase, the best line of the year, when he said, how do I feel? I think it was Dasha or the other interviewer that was asking. He said, how do you feel? How do you think Stretch Armstrong felt when he landed on the moon? I just thought that was hilarious.
Okay, so can we talk about the B Team for a second?
Mm-hmm.
So we've gushed on this show and my show about how much we love the B Team, right?
Right.
But I think it's time to acknowledge how much of a hit not only the team and the gimmick is, but the opportunity. It's an absolute hit, I think, in every stretch of the imagination. Bo and Axel have been real good hands on that roster for a long time, years now. And you can't say they were underutilized because they never, I mean, everybody at this stage, 90% of the people who wrestle in any company are decent to good, right? That's just the norm. It's a different era now. So we know they can go, but they never had gimmicks that were such that would endear them to the crowd on a consistently high level. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So for them to double down on what made them endearing in the first place, and that's just being total idiots, and find a way to be total idiots while being credible in the ring, I applaud them. I applaud them. WWE. Like, if you look at it, it's absolutely upset that they won because of, we look at the past 2-3 years of their careers, right? But if you look at the moment they said, Miz is gone, we're B Team, we're doing this, it absolutely makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things that I want to congratulate is Bo Dallas, because he's now one of the, off the top of my head, I think it's only now Samoa Joe that remains, but all the NXT champions have won a main roster belt, and that's Bo Dallas added to that club. Now, is there anyone else, or is it just Samoa Joe?
Well, do you remember Shinsuke finally got added that night too?
That's right. So Shinsuke's added to the list, so congratulations to both of them. But we will talk about the US title one in a wee minute, because there's some interesting things happening on SmackDown as well. But
absolutely,
I've not been a massive fan of the whole, like the majority of the sort of tag team scene on Raw being a comedy world. But when it's all you've got, and within the last month or so, the woken deleters of worlds, or whatever you want to call them, when they've not been the more interesting act, I think it was the right decision to take it off of them, the titles. It was still a surprise, but the B Team are just so low down the totem pole of success that you just didn't think it would be possible. I mean, they lost matches all the time on Raw, and just one of those loss ratios that was quite embarrassing. But they've won it. They're probably going to be fed to some monster team. Like, I think we might be heading back down to the path of more serious angles with maybe Authors of Pain. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But
well, if what happens on TV actually matters, we're not talking backstage rumors or Meltzer report, like actual television. The Revival is next, because every match that the leaders or the B Team have had in the past 3+ weeks, they have shown the shot of the Revival watching.
Oh, so they have. Well, it should be them next.
Should be. And remember, the Revival beat Lashley and Roman. So they already have proven, yeah, we might have had a down stretch, but we back.
And see, the thing that I like about the Revival, if it is them, they took, for a sort of moment in time, they made Enzo and Cass a very serious act. Enzo and Cass back in NXT were
absolutely
just sort of promo kings and stuff like that, and always up for a laugh. But when they had the stuff going on over NXT TakeOver London and the Roadblock,
oh my god, great match, the
great match at the February, the sort of house show Roadblock they had as well. But that was like
excellent match,
serious feud, and that was all down to the Revival. So although the B team are a comedy act, if that means that the Revival will bring out some seriousness, up the ante, up the stakes, get some real sympathy behind them, as we know that the Revival are good at helping happen, it could end up quite an interesting little programme there between the two teams.
And I think the interesting thing is, so I said this on my show once, and I got a little flack for it, not a whole lot. Like, a couple people talked to me about it, but I know you're a huge Revival mark. I love the Revival. Most of the people in our circle love the Revival. But the problem with the Revival is, if you were to lay out every team on SmackDown, and you were to show a fan who doesn't watch wrestling anything they did for 5 minutes, their best stuff, whether it was a promo, a backstage vignette, a match, whatever, every other team on that card it has something memorable, right? The B team are a bunch of idiots and hilarious, right? The Leaders of Worlds are spooky and medieval, and they got that whole
otherworldly
weird
thing.
Yeah, otherworldly thing. The Authors of Pain are intimidating as fuck, right? Like, every team, even the smaller ones, and then the Revival come out, and what's interesting about the Revival? They wrestle well. So the beauty of them fighting a team that is so much on the other side is that can help the Revival get some love in the eyes of that fan base, because there's nothing interesting about the Revival other than the fact that they wrestle well. That works for diehards. That don't work for the other group. But if they're fighting Axel and Bo, who have they've gotten a real push. They got a T-shirt. They've gotten the company is really showing some faith in them to run segments. So they backstage vignettes, interviews, that can help the Revival by showing the Revival's teamwork and viciousness and old school attitude by attacking and beating the hell out of the funny guys.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I do see where you're coming from with the Revival, but should you have to cater to casuals?
Yes.
At all
because
times?
diehards are always going to be there. Yes.
At all times, though. I mean,
well, okay, so that's a layered question, because number one, the casuals are what caused the WWE to be as successful as it is. Number one, and number two, think about it. You just said when we started this conversation about tag teams, you just said, I don't like what they've done with tag teams on Raw. Essentially, if you do not count Roman and Seth and Drew and Dolph as actual tag team acts, the only tag teams that have gotten any real play recently have been B Team and the Leaders. We've had a little mini thing with Titus Worldwide and AOP, which is nice to see another tag team on the roster, right? But other than that, it's nothing. So the reason there's nothing is because there's no tag teams, at least on that brand, that have shown that they can keep the crowd's interest.
But so basically what we're saying is the Revival are a slow burner. They were a slow burner on NXT as well. When we first saw them, I thought, they're alright. It wasn't until the first Dusty Tag Team Classic I thought, right, we're onto something here, where you saw what their game plan was. The whole cut up the ring, work on a body part, very clever wrestling. So maybe it's just a case of I don't think they should have to change their approach.
No,
because fans will get there eventually.
I don't think they should either.
One thing, a really funny thing that happened a couple of Raws ago. Did you see Bo Dallas dressed as Bray Wyatt?
So Axel is really trying hard to do Matt Hardy well, and he's doing it as decently as he can. But Bo got Bray perfect. I mean, the voice, everything, way he moves and kind of sways when he talks, everything is perfect. It
was frightening because he looked, obviously it was a fake beard, but I thought, oh God, you really see the resemblance between them then?
We forget they're brothers, and Bo reminded us that they are genuinely brothers.
Mm-hmm. I know. What were your thoughts on the other tag match of the night between Team Hell No and the Bludgeon Brothers?
Well, knowing what we know now, knowing that Kane was hurt, I think it went as perfectly as it could go. And let me tell you why I say that. I understand that it's almost essentially the same match as Bryan had at WrestleMania.
Yes,
just with Bryan
the thought crossed
being
my mind.
chained. Right. So I get that. But the difference is Zayn and Owens are not, they're great wrestlers. Tremendous. But they are not as feared in the eyes of kayfabe and the WWE Universe as the Bludgeons are.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan had the Bludgeons on their heels for 5, 6, 7 plus minutes. This is a team that squashed the Usos and the New Day singularly and together in less than 8 minutes. And Bryan had them on their heels for damn near 10 on his own.
That's a good point, actually. It was one of those ones I wasn't really invested in this Team Hell No 2.0. So I assumed that Daniel Bryan would win it. Oh, sorry, Team Hell No would win the titles, and it would, I don't know, there was rumours about Undertaker being the opponent for Daniel Bryan, but something came out today that I thought, do you know what, I'm fed up reading these rumour reports, so I'm just done with believing stuff from now on. I'll just say fake news, hashtag fake news.
That's the word. That's the word of the day, apparently.
So I don't know. Obviously, are you up to date with SmackDown?
Yes, absolutely.
So the Miz cut another solid
fire.
This is the Miz that I've missed on SmackDown. I think there's been too much comedy stuff with Miz since he moved over to Tuesday nights, but this was the Miz that I grew to love on SmackDown previously and then Raw there. And there was that intensity, and there's an anger in his eyes that makes me think he does actually hold something against Daniel Bryan in real life.
No, they've both admitted they really have. I mean, they work well together, but they really have real disdain for each other. Mm-hmm. This is not a gimmick.
Yeah, it's fascinating to watch, and if this does lead to a SummerSlam program between the two, then give it to me. I'm looking forward to it. I know you've got your concerns about seeing Daniel Bryan wrestle full stop, but from the whole story that these guys have had for many years now, I'm looking forward to that very much.
Well, I'm sure that with this new contract he's about to sign, if you believe that he's already signed, he'll have a part-time schedule. Like, he won't do house shows except for the big ones. He'll just do all TVs.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me feel better. I will never feel good about Daniel Bryan wrestling. Never. So it's just something I have to accept, right? Just that it is what it is. But 3 quick thoughts on the whole situation. Number 1, I would never say that a wrestler getting injured is good, but Kane getting injured helped the fact of moving the Bryan Miz thing along, because I'm sure I thought Team Hell No was going to win, just as much as you said, against the Bludgeons. But because of Kane, they lost and were able to use that to further and heat up the feud everybody wants to see, Miz and Bryan. Number 2, I think this is great for the Bludgeons, because now they can have a feud that's focused about them. Because nobody cared about them in this feud against Team Hell No. It was all about Bryan and Kane. Now they can actually have a real organic feud with the team where it's team versus team and not guy versus guy on the other squad. And number 3, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, say your third one.
Yeah, real quick, you mentioned about the Miz and the comedy. Well, we have to acknowledge, number 1, Miz hasn't had a feud since he's moved over to SmackDown. And number 2, and most importantly, Miz he's been working, but he's kind of been like part-time working because he's been so busy with his reality show. Mm-hmm. He got a brand new baby, and he's doing all this extra press. Like, he missed the pay-per-view to be the MVP of the Major League Baseball All-Star Celebrity Game. Like, so I feel like they gave him a little break. You're still going to work, but you got all this other stuff we're going to focus on, and then when it's time to go, you're going to go.
So I've got 2 questions. One, when you say Kane was injured, do you mean Glenn Jacobs was injured?
No, Glenn Jacobs really has a foot injury.
Oh, right, okay. Right, that's fair.
That's why they did the angle. Right. He really has a foot injury.
That was one thing I quite enjoyed about the first hour or so of Extreme Rules, was the wee segment backstage where Kane got his foot squashed in the meat locker or whatever it was.
with the mallet. They finally used the hammer.
It's like Triple H's sledgehammer on steroids, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
And the other question is, who's next for the Bludgeon Brothers? Would you say it's the Bar?
I would hope it's the Bar. That's the only thing that makes sense. Although I would not look past Sanity maybe sneaking in, because they've pretty much dominated New Day the past couple of matches.
They have.
But no, the Bar finally is back. They're healthy. And that'll be a hell of a match, because all four of we all acknowledge that Eric Rowan is not the caliber of wrestler that not. Luke Harper, that Cesaro and Sheamus are, but he holds his own damn well in tag matches with his brother Luke.
Especially when it comes to tandem offense.
Oh, he's tremendous.
Very good tandem offender.
He plays his role, whatever his role is, tremendously well.
Mm-hmm.
So to see those four, who are all about the same size, all 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 270, 280, go out there and beat the holy hell out of each other, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Aye. I mean, I've not been annoyed that the Bar haven't been used as much as or as seriously as I would have liked on SmackDown. They had this thing going on with New Day for a while, but they did move in April. I think it is time for them to have a legitimate program, as it were. And they're leading.
Yeah, but everybody deserves a chance to take some time off and get healthy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was, again, I'm going to say reports here, but isn't Sheamus carrying a dodgy neck injury?
He apparently has spinal stenosis, yes, so he's wrestling on borrowed time.
That's a shame.
From what we've been told. I don't know, because, Edge wrestled with it for a while, and so did Austin, so he very may well have it.
Underrated wrestler, in my opinion.
Overpushed, which is why he's underrated.
Right.
Because he got pushed to a lot of situations and opportunities that a lot of people didn't think he deserved or should have been in, or at least not at the point he should have been in them at. So that takes away from the fact that the quality of his matches have been really good to excellent for a very long time.
Are you talking about Sheamus or someone else?
Sheamus.
Not Roman Reigns?
Oh, well. We're going to get to that eventually, I'm sure.
Well, let's go just now then. What did you think of that match? I see leading up to it. I was thinking with the kind of quote-unquote shoot promos they were having the last few weeks, and then the brawl/pull apart the week before, I was actually invested in it, and I was wondering, why didn't they do this after Greatest Royal Rumble?
Well, because I think they were in a holding pattern to try to prop up SummerSlam. Can I point out something to you real quick before I talk about Roman and Lashley?
Yes.
Think about the big names that weren't on Extreme Rules. Sasha and Bayley didn't wrestle. God, I looked at it. Of course, the Bar wasn't there. They didn't wrestle. The Usos didn't wrestle. Like a lot of really big top notable names weren't on. Ronda was a part of a segment, but she didn't wrestle. Like a lot of guys didn't wrestle on that card.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are trying to be diverse in their card usage, because we all know the roster's bloated, and now the shows are so long that they're trying to pick and choose the time. Like Jinder wasn't on the card.
See,
like there's a.
I know. I've thought that since Backlash, to be honest with you, especially when they had Big Cass in a match with Daniel Bryan. They've got, as you say, a bloated roster. You're talking over on main roster. I don't know exactly, but must be 100. It's got
Close
to be.
Joe wasn't on the card.
Joe wasn't on the card. So to me,
Elias wasn't on the card.
It's good to have a breath of refresh it, like a bit of respite from these characters. But I get there is a gripe that people want to see these supercards every month, but that means you're not going to get a supercard at the Big Four. So I'm fine with the way they're doing things. I'm fine with seeing the likes of B Team get a shot, because it just keeps things fresh. The booking might not be to people's satisfaction, but at least these wrestlers are earning their paychecks and getting some good TV time.
So can I say something that's completely contradictory to what I would normally say? I'm going to criticize Roman Reigns. The one thing that I can criticize about him in relevance to his match against Lashley is he falls into the trap of he has a lot of these feuds where the build-up is vicious and heated as hell. And then the match comes out and they wrestle just a standard match. Like, the one thing that I think a lot of wrestlers have that Roman has shown he can do, but whether it's the booking or the way the agents are producing the matches, whatever it is, that heat from that feud isn't manifesting itself into their work in the ring. Right. Because Lashley and Roman was a good match. It really was. Other than like Roman throwing him around for a while, like the when they threw him out the ring and Lashley just literally flew, and like other than like a couple moments like that, there was nothing of note. Like they should have went out there and beat the holy hell out of each other, but they had a standard match, and that's a criticism that's extremely valid because Roman is the target, right? Not only for the IWC, but the roster is acknowledging he's the target. So if that's the case, and Roman's supposed to be fighting back and getting to this point where he's sick of this shit, Danny Glover, these matches should be a lot more vicious.
I do agree. I think I was actually quite nonplussed with that match. Maybe because it was one I was actually looking forward to with Roman Reigns. Maybe, I don't know. But it just felt like, this is quite disappointing because the brawl that they had in Raw, you can see if they're just given time to be intense and throw some sort of snug punches and forearms and kicks and stuff, then they could have a good match, but it just felt a bit flat to me. Through no fault. Well, I don't think it was through any fault of anyone. It was just maybe the match that whoever was the buzzword for the moment produced it.
Right, but the problem is, this is 3 matches now. And I'm not counting the Brock situation because nobody knows what the fuck is going on with that. But his last 3 pay-per-view matches have been heated feuds. Joe, Jinder, and now Lashley. All 3 were extremely heated feuds. All 3 had a bunch of backstage brawls and fights and personal insults thrown around. They've all been marquee level matches. And then all 3 of the matches have been underwhelming. The Jinder match was underwhelming because the crowd never gave it a chance to be interesting. But the other 2, you can expect Roman and Joe and Roman and Lashley to at least be entertaining. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was entertained because it was a good match, but there was nothing like, oh man, I remember that.
Yeah. The one thing I do remember was the belly to belly onto the table. And the suplex onto the floor. Lashley did kind of bounce there, his head whipped quite badly. But apart from that was it. I think that was I did enjoy most of Extreme Rules, but overall I thought there wasn't any standout match. No classics there. Nothing of note. You don't agree from the look on your face?
No, it's not that I don't agree. I'm trying to think. I will tell you. Okay, so maybe I can agree with that, but I will tell you this: I have not seen a WWE pay-per-view in a good while that had as many shocks and unexpected moments as Extreme Rules did. And for a show that's called Extreme Rules, that is what you should expect.
That's true,
right?
That's the thing I was going to talk about earlier. Kurt Angle calling out Brock Lesnar towards the start. I really like that because I did a whole podcast about it, how I'm fed up with it.
Yes, you did.
Fed up with the whole Brock Lesnar stuff, and Kurt Angle must have listened to that podcast. Thanks for listening, Kurt.
He clearly is a Social Suplex fan, so yes.
He's a 2-time Olympic. He listened to the podcast with a broken freaking neck. That's what he did.
And look, if I had an Olympic gold medal, I'd wear that thing around the house every day, all day.
I know. I hope he does. But
I do too.
I liked that they were called that out. I liked I know people might think it's a demotion for Nakamura to all of a sudden be in a main title scene for months to then just win the US title, but Nakamura was still in the main event scene for many months. He might not have won the title, but he was a big focus for SmackDown for a long time.
From January to June.
So I think that he's instantly elevated the US title.
He's not elevated. Okay, maybe he's elevated the US title, but he has been de-elevated in the eyes of fans.
Well,
to go that long and to not be able to get the goal, I know I don't look at him the same. His character work is so impeccable. His character work has been impeccable, and we know his in-ring work is always going to be excellent. But in terms of what I think, if I were to list the hierarchy of SmackDown, at one point it was AJ then Shinsuke. It's not that to me anymore. Shinsuke's down a couple notches. U.S. title or not.
Well, the gulf between AJ and Jeff Hardy is understandably bigger.
Sure, and then also Bryan is back, and Bryan is the focus of the show again. So he's instantly up there, like number 2 or 1. And then, of course, Rusev had a moment where he stepped up. And Miz is always going to have his level of nobody gets more screen time than Miz, damn near, right?
Mm-hmm.
But while we're talking about Shinsuke, you said you wanted to talk about the match and your thoughts on it. So let me know what you think, because that's a very controversial way to have that match go down.
Well, I liked how it went down. You could argue that Nakamura failed to beat AJ, but he evolved his game plan and kicked Jeff Hardy in the balls before the match instead of during it. So that obviously works to his advantage.
His game plan.
That wasn't. Listen, this isn't a Dillinger escape plan effort. This is true. This is a shoot opinion.
Oh my God! He was like, maybe if I kick him in the nuts before the match, it'll work.
God bless America.
Oh my God! That's good. That's good.
I don't like Randy Orton back. That sounds really bad, doesn't it?
No, we all have our guys we don't like. That's okay.
He's interesting as a heel, where he nearly ripped Jeff Hardy's massive loop earring thing out.
Well, you know why he's interesting right now? At least just in these last two appearances, he's interesting because we don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's interesting because he looks interested.
Well, that's a big part of it, because we know Randy definitely will come get them checks.
And another thing that makes me think that he's interested for whatever program's up and coming is he has cut a few pounds. I think he's been doing some DDP yoga. Shout out. Yeah, he looked a bit, not too much, not like his 2009 days, but he definitely looked a bit more shredded than when he was previously on the show.
He did. Well, the 2 months off did him well.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think... I know that Jeff Hardy has carrying a lot of knocks and niggles and stuff like that, but...
Sorry, please continue. I love that word.
Niggles.
Yes, I love it. I love the word. Hey, you my favorite person ever for using it on the podcast. You're my favorite person ever. Just let you know that.
Thank you, but it's like a common word.
No, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's funny to me. It just makes me laugh.
Where was I?
Jeff Hardy has a bunch of knocks and niggles.
Yes, and his promo was a bit out there on Tuesday night there.
Enjoy the show. Woo!
Is there something wrong with him?
He's broken.
Is that the route they're going down?
I don't remember the exact moment he had the promo or what caused it. But when he went to SmackDown and he started feuding with Orton or whatever happened, he had the first match he had at Jinder at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Then he started feuding with whoever it was. Might have been Orton, I don't remember, but going into Backlash or whatnot. And he all of a sudden just started wearing the face paint, and he was cutting more darker promos and referencing the obsolete and all that stuff. So yeah, I do think that he has. And if you remember Jeff's original real main event run on SmackDown, when he finally got the title and was facing Triple H and Taker and all these guys, and he started wearing the face paint and being a little darker and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hardy knows that he's not a talker. That's not his forte. But that face paint and stuff brings out his creative side, which I guess allows him to be more in tune with stuff like that. And it's been working because the face paint is great and the eye shit is freaky as hell.
I don't know. See, for about 4 or 5 seconds, I thought I was watching Bound for Glory 2011 again. Oh,
well, that's what people thought happened on Sunday. People were like, "Oh my God, did he do it again?" Well, some people, I heard a couple people, and it might have been jokingly referencing it. Because I mean, I don't know if Jeff is clean, but WWE would never let that happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
But I mean, come on, man, the callbacks were really, really eerily similar.
What specific callbacks? Do you mean to Bound for Glory?
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking Victory Road when he was drunk, and Sting had to hold him down.
Oh, was it Victory Road? I got my pay-per-views mixed up there.
I think it was Victory Road. But I only say that because Jeff comes out, Nakamura pins him super, super fast, and they just move the fuck on.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's a lot of other things that don't match with that too, like Jeff came out looking coherent. It didn't take him 4 or 5 minutes to get to the ring, stuff like that. And it was very clear the storyline, and I think what I enjoyed about Shinsuke winning that fast, simply this: Shinsuke needed a definitive win after what he did what he went through with AJ.
Uh-huh.
So I think that instantly brought him back up by winning that dominantly.
I really liked his God Bless America stuff on SmackDown there. That was quite haunting.
He is. I did a column not too long ago about dissecting like character.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And using the Dungeons and Dragons the character scale of good, evil, and neutral, and lawful or chaotic.
Yes.
And I said that Shinsuke is evil, is chaotic evil because essentially he's the Joker now.
Uh-huh.
He's just doing shit just cause. He just wants to see the world burn.
Yep. That's a good point. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Nakamura. I don't know if it's going to involve Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. That seems to be a personal thing between those two.
The interesting thing about Randy Orton Tuesday after the whole Loeb incident and whatnot, the one thing I enjoyed was at one point he walked away from Jeff, looked at the ring and screamed, "Where's Shinsuke?" That let me know that he still wants that title, which made me feel like it wasn't just personal. So there's really he has a plan. It's not just him doing stuff to do it.
Possibly. For the first time in a long time, I'm interested to see what Orton does next. So fair play to him for doing that, I suppose.
Agreed.
Aye. Right. We'll talk about the women's matches for a wee while. Well,
which one you want to talk about? Because the Carmella... You're a Carmella fan. Let's talk about Carmella. That's your girl. Please.
For a few minutes, I thought James Ellsworth being caught in the shark cage was a shoot.
I did too. I swear to God, I did too.
Uh-huh.
Until I saw the thing on his chest, and I was like, "Oh, that was planned."
Aye, it looked like he was wearing a stab-proof vest or something like that.
It was a flak jacket. It was basically so that when Asuka kicked the holy hell out of him, it wouldn't hurt that bad.
Aye, I know that kind of. There was a few things that pulled me out of it there. I know that Carmella isn't the best wrestler in the roster, but she feigned away from a couple of attacks, and I don't like it when that happens. Like, there was a hip attack where she basically just moved out the way, but she sold it as if she'd been blasted in the face.
Well, it's that Alexa Bliss selling that, so I'm scared to take the hit 100% sometimes, so I'm just going to sell it like I did, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm. And it's... But I was more entertained with that match because see, from a booking standpoint, it made sense that Asuka, the way Asuka was beaten was still fine because she just got her head smashed off the shark cage. So it's still, I think it still protects her.
No,
you're not buying it.
Well, okay, so I'm twofold. I am 100% behind the Carmella push, 100%. No, not looking back 1 second. I'm absolutely behind the Carmella push. Here's the problem, though. Asuka has taken so much from so many different people over the years, right? Bayley, Ember, Mickey, Sasha, everybody.
That's NXT, though.
Everybody. Emma and Dana Brooke, like Nia Jax, everybody. And she loses to a super kick into hitting her head on the cage. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because it's one thing if she would have accumulated a whole bunch of damage during the matches, and then that was just the blow that finally did it. Carmella wasn't giving her any work in the matches anyway before these moments, which is the problem, because I'm not that guy that's going to sit here and that argument that finishers need to be finishers, and you know that argument people have. But it makes it look weird that, okay, well, Carmella's super kick apparently can beat Charlotte and Asuka out of nowhere, but then other people's super kicks don't. It's just you know. But Jimmy Uso, who utilizes it much better, has to super kick you 3 times before you fall. Like it doesn't look consistent enough for somebody who has a problem with it already to say, all right, I'm cool with that.
The super kick is the worst offender for it.
Absolutely. Well, super kicks and DDTs, yes.
DDTs, yeah, but the Sweet Chin music used to be like, it probably was the most over finisher in the company for a while.
Well, because of Shawn, not because of the move.
Yes, that's true. But what I mean is, it's just used all over the place now. When you have,
I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me because most of the times it's used as a signature or a regular move. If that's the case, I'm cool with it. And I don't mind Carmella winning matches with it. My problem is you at least work on the head. Have some offense. Control the match for 5 minutes. Make it look like, okay, this move worked because I got her to the point where I could hit her with one move and finish it. That didn't happen.
That's the thing, though. I think it was Samuel Plan had said it on Right Side of the Pond last week. He's fine with Carmella's character work as well. We're all fine with Carmella, what's going on. I bought most of the booking for what happened this week with the smashing the face off the cage and stuff like that. But they keep trying to book Carmella as if she can wrestle. When we know she's not that great at it. She knows she's not that great at it, but the matches still play out as if she's got a foothold in the match. And it just doesn't match her I'm better than you when she's not, if you know what I mean. And I want to...
Sure.
Was that, are you sure or sure?
No, I was saying, yeah, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
See, so the reason why I was wanting to tie this into the Alexa match, I prefer Carmella's I'm a shit wrestler but I'm the champ to Alexa's I'm a shit wrestler but I'm the champ is Alexa's too serious and it doesn't come across that she's a legit badass because of the way her matches are booked. And that one at the weekend there, it was just another boring match with Nia Jax.
Well, hold on. Before we get there, I want to make one point about Asuka.
Okay.
I feel for her in a situation, but this is the exact reason why I hate streaks in wrestling. I've been on this show numerous times talking about how much I hate, for example, The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. Like, I hated that. I hate streaks in wrestling because, well, let me ask you this. Instead of making my point, I'll ask you a question that'll make my point for me. Okay?
Okay.
Be completely honest. Was Asuka over to you? I'm talking about from the moment she debuted until she won the Royal Rumble, say, right?
Do you mean
was Asuka
main roster debut?
Main roster, yeah. From NXT to the main roster, Rumble win. Just that period. Was Asuka over to you because her character was great? Or was she over to you
because of the wrestling?
Well, man, that's such a cop-out answer because you didn't answer the question. Like, I get she could wrestle, but like, what of it was do you think was more important to her being as over as she was?
I'm not.
In fact, I'll even ask you an even more nuanced question. What's Asuka's character?
Not a clue.
That's the problem. And that's why I don't like streaks, because streaks do no character work. Streaks don't build up characters or people. They build up an aura. And when you lose, which eventually you're going to have to lose, that person isn't over anymore because they did no building of the person. So that's the problem.
Okay. I've not, you've stumped me there.
Yeah. So see, and you might disagree, but just think about it. Like, the reason Goldberg was no good anymore after he lost was because he never had any character. He wasn't built as a person or as a character. He was built as an aura. And his aura was dependent on him winning all the time, which is why his first WWE run didn't work, because he lost. But his second WWE run was perfect because he was dominant.
Okay.
He was the guy we knew.
I'm going to play the contrarian.
Oh.
So you said streaks don't build characters?
Most times they have not. No, most times not streaks to that level. I don't think so. Not often.
What about Kurt Hawkins?
That's different.
How?
He's losing. I'm talking about winning streaks.
It's still a streak though, and that's made his character as that he's a loser.
Yeah, but okay. So I think the difference between losing and winning in streak form is, for example, MVP and Kurt Hawkins have had very famous losing streaks, right?
Right.
But the purpose of their losing streaks is for them to become relatable, for people to for the groundswell to grow behind them,
to feel sorry for
and
them,
want them to do better.
Okay.
Right. But Asuka, Asuka's gonna have a great match whether she wins or loses. Right?
That's true.
If Asuka wrestled a match against Sasha Banks and Sasha won, it would still be a great match. So the wrestling wasn't what got her over. The wrestling was what legitimized her, but what got her over was winning all the damn time.
Mm-hmm.
So once she starts losing, nobody has anything to say about who she is as a character. We know who Carmella is. Carmella is that girl who talks in your face, who's pretty and talks in your face, and shouldn't be winning, shouldn't be successful, but is successful and never let you forget it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Becky Lynch is the ultimate underdog who everybody wants to pull for because she's gonna fight and come back, like, you know what I'm saying? Mandy Rose is a goddess, quote unquote. Sonya Deville is an MMA fighter, right? Like the Iconics are mean girls. Like everybody has a character except for Asuka.
Oh, while I'm not sure I agree with you, I have nothing in retort, so I might need to get back to you on a postcard with that.
Think about it.
I will.
Yeah, think about it.
So, where do you? I'm not sure I've heard you sort of flat out say your thoughts on Alexa.
Well, let me say this: I prefer Alexa to Carmella personally.
Okay.
The reason I do is just based on their characters, which are extremely similar. The difference between Carmella and Alexa is the prevailing theory, or what the WWE is presenting to us, is Alexa keeps winning because of her brain, because she's outsmarting people. Carmella is not outsmarting people. Carmella has an ace in the hole.
Right.
So there's a little difference. So I much rather, because that's a gimmick, right? Being smarter than everybody else is a gimmick. It's something that you can use on paper. And the reason why the one person that she run into that she couldn't handle, which was Nia, is because Nia's bigger and badder and she couldn't outsmart her. Right?
Right.
And Ronda's tougher, and she can't outsmart her because she's going to get her ass whooped. But everybody else, she outsmarted Charlotte. She outsmarted Bayley. She outsmarted Sasha. She outsmarted Becky. She outsmarted Naomi. She outsmarted them. She didn't beat them.
See, I'm not. The thing that bothers me about Alexa being champion this time is not that she's a shit wrestler. I get that she's not the best wrestler, and you prove a point that she does outsmart people. It's that we're doing it all again. We're doing the Nia Jax storyline again. Nia Jax has flipped from face to heel more times in the last few months than the Big Show has in his whole career.
Jesus Christ. Well, okay. Can I play contrarian on that one real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I believe I was on this show when that shit happened.
Yes.
When Nia was mean to Ronda and the Jobber. I was on the show, I think, that week.
I think it was actually us, Ricky and I were on Outsider's Edge, actually.
I know I was talking to you in whatever it was. And I told you guys, I don't know if this is a heel turn more than it's, I got something to prove to you. You remember me saying that?
Mm-hmm.
If you take that 1 week away, legitimately, take that 1 week away, the entire time, has she done anything else heelish?
Probably.
Go back and think. In fact, you don't have to do it now. But I urge you to go back and look. Everything else since that point has been pretty on the level.
What about the Twitter work?
Oh, well, yeah, okay. That's I don't know. I don't even know what to talk about that. I don't even know what to do because I don't like to get worked by wrestlers on Twitter, but that felt pretty real.
No,
you know,
I didn't think so.
I don't know.
I didn't think so at the time, but it seems to still be an issue apparently.
Maybe so.
Maybe so.
Maybe I'm lost on that one. But in terms of the Alexa night, so let me say this: I don't want Alexa to be champ. I didn't want her to win Money in the Bank. I wanted her to have a second away from the title and have a feud with the Ember or somebody for a minute. But the difference is, I understand business as you do, and seeing Alexa versus Ronda at SummerSlam for Ronda winning her first title is going to be amazing. Alexa running from Ronda, and a Ronda finally getting her hands. This is the thing. Characters like Alexa always have that moment where they get the holy hell beat out of them, and it's cathartic for everybody, right?
Yep.
And we thought that was the case at WrestleMania, but it wasn't. She didn't get beat like she should have.
That's probably going to happen with Becky Lynch as well.
Exactly. 100%. So Becky, who the crowd's been begging for over a year to finally get back in the title picture, is going to get her comeuppance against Carmella in a full circle type situation. Remember the first Money in the Bank ladder match, full circle. And then Ronda, who has been the absolute star and surprise of the year, is going to come out here and beat the holy hell out of Alexa and Mickey and her stilettos and throw her around. And it's going to be... And Ronda's finally going to win. It's going to be amazing.
Well, for some it will be amazing.
Fair enough. I should have said better. Yes, you're right. For some.
Mm-hmm. I still have issues with Ronda Rousey, but that's too long a discussion to have.
But surely she's making a believer out of you, right? At least somewhat.
I see it like when she wrestles, yes, but they keep doing this. She's not a full timer. She's not at all.
I disagree with that 100%. What constitutes a full timer in your eyes? Wrestling every week?
Someone who's there at least 2 weeks out of 4.
Ronda's been suspended.
Yeah, because they're just keeping her off TV.
Or maybe it's a story.
Right. Well, I get...
Okay, hold on real quick. So you have an issue with Ronda not being on TV this past month because the story called for it, but Sheamus and Cesaro just randomly took off, just cause. And you don't have a problem with that?
No, the problem I've had is this has been happening, whether it's story or not, since Elimination Chamber, where she's just appeared now and again, and then she's off again for quite the same amount of time.
That's not true. Ronda's probably missed 2 Raws the entire time she's been other than this month for the storyline purposes. Ronda's been on every Raw except for like 2, in some capacity.
Are you sure?
Maybe 3, but yes.
Right.
Just about.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I will apologize to you on air if I'm wrong.
Likewise, I will take it back, but I just still don't think that she's been used to her full potential. And when we're in this,
that's fair.
I think that's the point that I'm trying to articulate, and I'm not doing it well enough. When we're in this place where apparently creative is bad, the wrong people are being pushed, the wrong people are holding championships. She's being used she's not being used. Oh Christ, I can't speak tonight.
Take your time, brother. Take your time.
She's being used too sparingly for my liking, and with creative as bad as it is, quote unquote, they need something to inject some sort of, oh yes, this is great,
okay,
and we're not getting that. She's only been used in fits and starts, stops and starts.
Okay. So I get your point. I disagree with it, but I understand it. I disagree with it because Ronda Rousey is legitimately not only the biggest star they have on the show, but she's the only person in that entire company that's not John Cena. That's a star in the world, right? Like outside our little bubble of professional wrestling, most people know who Ronda Rousey is.
Yes.
She's a legitimate star. So somebody that level of star who didn't get their stardom in wrestling, got it somewhere else, and decided to come over here, shouldn't be exposed. So, like, when she wrestles, she should be special, which is why I respect her immensely for knowing that she has that kind of juice, still saying, fuck it, I'll come to Raw, and I'll do a 5-minute segment where I do commentary. Or I'll come out and stand on the ringside with a friend of mine, or something, just to be on the show, because she understands, I really want to do this full time, but I know I can't wrestle every week because then the aura will die. Same thing, and I know you hate the dude, so I'm not trying to bring him up for any other purposes than making this point. If Brock wrestled every week, he wouldn't be the same character.
So just get rid of him altogether then.
But then, so now again, you're talking as a fan, and you're not talking as somebody who understands, who is acknowledging the business side of it. You're just talking strictly, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I know I am.
Yeah, there's not anything wrong with that thought process or mindset. But at some point, if you're going to be a well-to-do and a fully fleshed out, understanding fan, you have to acknowledge the business at some point. Right? So think about it. Ronda could pull a power play and say, fuck y'all, I'll show up at pay-per-views.
See, it's just, I enjoy when she wrestles most of the time. It's just the other things that are bothering me, and I'm struggling to let them go.
And that's fair, because if we can meet in some middle ground, is this. I think the top of the card on both women's divisions have not been as well received as they've been hoping they would.
Yeah, and because of that, I think they need
an injection of energy. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think they need a wee Deus Ex Machina, or however you pronounce that, to just get the creative juices flowing again. And I think they should have done it. Like, fair enough if it is going to be Rousey at SummerSlam and Becky Lynch winning. That's 2 feel-good matches for the women's titles.
Not to mention that Sasha and Bayley have a feud that is being projected to be very serious and huge. Mm-hmm. What they're doing with Ember and the Riots, because imagine if Ruby wasn't hurt. If Ruby and Ember is going to be a barn burner of a match when they finally have it.
Yes.
Right? That's another one that's sitting out there. Like, we have some stuff in the works, like, legitimately.
I think I just need to be a bit more patient myself. I do try and defend WWE as much as I can, but I should learn to be a bit more patient.
I don't fault you for it, because being a wrestling fan is hard, because being a fan. So in music, like an artist puts out a music once every few months, right? A movie puts out a movie, like like Marvel put out 3 movies this year. So that's a lot, but that's not 3 movies in 365 days, right? A TV show normally is like a scripted show is once a week for like 13 weeks, right? Wrestling is every week.
Mm-hmm.
And in WWE, you have 3 rosters of wrestling 3 times a week. So it's very easy to get caught up in that cycle, and you're not getting what you want and get impatient. It's real easy to do that. So I understand it.
See, the soap opera mentality, I might surprise you, but I was a massive, and I mean a huge mark for Sunset Beach, if you remember that at all.
I do not, but okay.
Right, it's kind of like your Days of Our Lives type soap.
Okay.
And you'd have main characters who aren't in it for a couple of weeks because they've got another storyline going on. So I liken it to that, because you've got people wrestling, like the Bar, for instance, who aren't in it for a certain amount of time, and then they come in closer to the big reveal, stuff like that. So I'm going to try and be a bit more patient, but I just don't want Alexa to be the champion anymore. I am also ready for Carmella to lose the title. She's had a decent run. She's gained quite a bit of experience for character work. Wrestling's not the best. It's not the worst I've seen anyway, either. There are worse women wrestlers on SmackDown, in my opinion. So, rechanging of the guard would be appreciated, I think.
And I appreciate that your issue with Ronda isn't that, oh, well, she hasn't earned it, or I don't like her. Your issue is, I want more of her. That's refreshing. Because most of the complaints are the other way.
I want more of her because I want to be won over by her.
And because every single second she's had the chance to win us over, she has. It's a great point.
Mm-hmm. So, will we take this time to have a moment's silence for the loss of Kevin Owens? Oh, here come the Druids.
Oh, we might as well, because he's going to come back as a zombie. That's how the Undertaker was created.
I know. That was some bump, that.
Jesus Christ. Well, there's a positive. The silver lining is that Shania Twain told him, when you beat Braun Strowman, I will sing Win for you. He finally beat Braun.
Mm-hmm.
So Shania got to sing.
See, I had put in the Social Suplexes predictions column that I think Kevin Owens is going to sneak this one somehow or another. And I was right. Didn't know it would be at the hands of Braun Strowman, mind you. But it was good. I'm not sure what's next for him, though, Kevin Owens, apart from a funeral. But...
Well, can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so hypocritical of us as a fan base that Braun can do these things and still be looked at as a face.
Oh, Kevin Owens did absolutely nothing wrong in that whole program. Nothing.
And I get the stuff that Braun is doing, is the feats of strength and amazingness that he's doing are so crazy you can't help but be awestruck. I get that. You're absolutely correct. But man, this man is tormenting this dude.
Mm-hmm. Right?
And I'm not gonna be that guy that says I don't get it. It's wrestling. It's entertainment. I get that. But the crowd has turned on people for less.
They have.
Right? Well, that's not befitting of a face.
Yeah.
Somebody jumps somebody from behind, and he's a bad face. That's bad face work. Braun literally threw somebody. He tried to murder somebody.
I know.
It's all good.
And his only regret was that he didn't congratulate Kevin Owens on his win. See,
vicious, man.
See, one thing. Again, I think I've been hanging about with you too much because I keep seeing the positives and negatives. Right. Booking Kevin Owens, he's been in comedy angles again since coming over to Raw. He's been in a weird feud with Braun Strowman. He's been in all of these dual-branded pay-per-views. He's been in segments and programmes all the time on Raw. They're still using him. So he's still on my screen. It might not be the prize fighter sociopath that I'd know and love, but he's still there. You see where I'm coming from? Obviously he was off this week because he's dead, but...
Yeah, he earned a vacation this week.
He did.
I think I've said this to you. It might have been private. It might have been on air, but I think this is the beginning of a Kevin Owens face turn.
Possibly. It'd be interesting to see how well that goes. It's going wonders for Pete Dunne, and I think there are slight similarities in their character traits.
Absolutely agree. You know the most interesting thing about the whole Kevin Owens Braun Strowman feud to me is what that is.
What?
The most interesting thing has nothing to do with either one of them. The most interesting thing is that Kurt is the guy that keeps pushing Braun to do the stuff to Kevin, and Kevin is begging Kurt, please help me. This is not normal.
Aye.
and Kurt's like, nah, you just need to face him. You just need to, stand up to him. And Kevin's like, no, he's going to kill me.
I know.
And what happened? He damn near died. So that's going to be interesting when they finally come back and have an interaction.
Yeah. See, for just talking pure stunt work, the accuracy of that throw and fall and land was spot on. And he's going backwards as well. He's not facing forwards and able to change his trajectory and stuff like that.
So, I don't know if you saw the Meltzer thing. So Meltzer got a lot of heat, which I don't like the guy, but it was a little unfair to him. So when Hiromu Takahashi got hurt in the Phoenixplex, there was a lot of backlash about that and how Dragon Lee had wrestled 4 matches in 2 days, and the style in general of New Japan is so extra balls to the wall that it leads to all these major injuries, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least neck injuries. Like, injuries happen, but like specifically head and neck injuries. And people were going at Meltzer saying your star rating is something that is contributing to this culture, because these wrestlers want to be critically acclaimed, and you keep pushing the ratings up leads to them continuing to push the envelope more and more and more. That's a little unfair. But his retort was, well, WWE has injuries too. So when this move happened, his response was, well, a lot of guys owe me an apology tonight. No, that was choreographed. They had airbags under it. Was it dangerous? Yes. Is everything in wrestling dangerous? Yes. There's a difference between choreographing a move and trying to make it as safe as possible and dropping a dude on his neck.
I know. And WWE stars might wrestle 4 or 5 nights in a row, but the house show matches are pretty tame.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even the hardcore matches are pretty tame.
Yeah, because I remember CM Punk said that a hardcore match was a bit of a break.
Yeah, because you take a few spots and you rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's definitely a conversation to be had about how much they do wrestle and the travel. Absolutely. That's a real conversation, because that's what I think leads to their injuries more than their in-ring product.
Uh-huh.
But I wasn't trying to have a philosophical debate necessarily, but I just wanted to mention that since we talked about the spot, because it was a hell of a spot. It was a scary spot, but it is as safe as humanly possible as they can make it. Just like when Shane jumped off the cell twice, as crazy as it was, it was as safe as you could make something like that.
Uh-huh. As much as you can.
Yeah.
So, by my count, we've got 2 matches left to cover. AJ Styles and Rusev for the WWE title. The match got better. I think it started off slowly. Is this just a challenger of the month? Do you think Rusev is going to go into a program with Aiden English, or do you think no?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They'll be wrestling at SummerSlam, and the face turn will be completely commenced.
What, for Rusev?
For Rusev, yes. And if you don't believe me, watch SmackDown last night. I think most of us agreed that Aiden would be the reason that Rusev lost.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Aiden was the reason Rusev lost. And he begged for forgiveness on Tuesday, saying that I owe so much to Rusev and Lana. And remember, Lana, we've all thought Lana was going to be part of the wedge. And, you know, that whole segment kind of foreshadowed that, well, Aiden's going to want forgiveness, but maybe he's going to realize that Rusev wouldn't be here without me. Why do I got to ask forgiveness for this dude?
Uh-huh. Did you enjoy the match?
Oh, the match was tremendous. It's probably the best match of the night. I mean, I enjoyed the next match more, but we'll talk about that when we get there. But it was they have really good chemistry. I like that Rusev had the opportunity, but I'm ready for this AJ Joe feud, so we can do all this extra stuff until we get there.
All right.
Cool. But I need to go ahead and see this AJ Joe feud and see Joe try to murder him. I need to see that.
That would be good. I'd really like to see that. With the Rusev title shot, as I say, it got better towards the end. And I suppose that is the telltale signs of a good match, where they're feeling each other out at the start. Nothing much is happening. That's like the natural... For me, when I'm watching a match, sometimes I do feel 5-10 minutes in, it's like, oh, this is boring. But it ends up being a really good, well-told story over 20-odd minutes or so.
Well, we're so used to guys going balls to the wall from the very beginning, you know, it's hard for us to remember or to like, matches used to be paced where shit was slow in the first 5 minutes and you build up to a hot finish.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it's a hot beginning, a slow middle, and a hot finish. I'd rather the slow beginning moving to a hot middle, hot finish, and hotter finish.
Yes.
I'd rather it that way.
And this... Nice segue. This specifically is the problem that I had with the Intercontinental title match. Okay, was it 4 each, 5-4? The score itself doesn't bother me, but it felt as if it was opposite ends. All the drama I felt should have happened at the end of that match, not the start. And I thought that a couple of the pinfalls, again, the number was high, fair enough, but a couple of them were very unnecessary for me. The roll-ups, Seth Rollins got a roll-up pin for the first pinfall, but then he was kicking out of Ziggler was kicking out of curb stomps later on in the match.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the match first, and then let's talk about the controversy afterwards. So yes, we have to acknowledge a few things first. Can we do that?
Uh-huh.
First, we have to acknowledge the fact that just some base facts before we think about the match. We have to acknowledge the fact that in all kayfabe, forget backstage work, all on-screen canon WWE facts. Okay, Seth Rollins has been acknowledged as being on the run of his career by the company, right?
Yes.
Dolph Ziggler's entire history has been that he chokes in the biggest moments.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. In fact, Seth would have beat Dolph had Drew not interfered when he lost the title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So those are 3 facts that are important to note. Okay? Going into the match, now knowing these facts, you have to remember that in an Ironman match, sometimes the strategy is a loss is a win. Right?
Right.
So I think that those first 3 falls, at least the first fall, the roll up, it was a fluke. Dolph didn't trip. People get rolled up all the time, right? No big deal. Seth just rolled up Elias, whatever their match was at whatever review it was. I think it was Money in the Bank, right? It happens. Then he gets curb stomped, and then that's when you start to see Drew, who won a match to stay at ringside, start to realize we're about to lose control of this match. That's when the story started to play out, right? Roll-ups happen.
Okay, I'll concede that one.
Okay.
But And Drew kind of saved himself at the end of the match, the very end, sudden death. But why on earth would they make it go from 2-0 to 3-0?
Because, let me tell you why. Because the story of Dolph and Drew is that everybody knows that Dolph in ring is tremendous. He just can't close. Drew is a Scottish psychopath, right? Who's supposed to be the guy to help him get over the top, right? Mm-hmm. They both have the same mindset. Get me over the top. When Dolph got rolled up, it happens. It's in the first few minutes of the match. No big deal. We got 25 minutes left. When he gets curb stomped, Drew realizes, oh my God. So Drew's like, okay, Dolph is great. Maybe we can come back from this. When he gets beat the third time, Drew's like, we can't have this no more. I've gone as far as I can go. I have let this go as far as I can go. Let me interfere. Let me beat the hell out of Seth. And I know he's going to get disqualified. I don't think I'm thinking in kayfabe, of course. I don't think Drew was thinking in kayfabe he was going to get kicked out. But he knew that, okay, we'll take the disqualification loss, right? So that, much like when Brock and Kurt fought, the first time, which is the best Iron Man match ever to me, because it's the first time somebody said, let me use some strategy in this match.
Uh-huh.
And beat the holy hell out of him. And that way, the rest of the match, I have the advantage because I used a loss as a win. And that one loss he took in the disqualification led to 2 more falls immediately that Dolph was able to get.
Okay, I know that I did like that bit where, because of Drew interfering so violently, that Seth was rocked and a couple of spin falls for Dolph as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it would have been better if all this stuff happened in the last 10 minutes instead of the first.
But it would have been rushed, and then there would have been no match.
Well, it was rushed at the start, though.
Huh?
It was rushed at the start, though.
But a traditional match for the last 20 minutes.
Right.
What would you rather have? Would you rather have a rushed beginning and have a legitimate match based off of that rushed match afterwards, or would you rather have a traditional match at the beginning and have a rushed ending, which leads to people wanting more is a good thing, but in this case, it's Iron Man match.
I just think if it rushes to a crescendo, and we've seen that before in Iron Man matches, I think I just prefer you can call it shenanigans if you want. I just prefer it that, as we were talking about in AJ Styles Rusev match, it was paced well.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was back to front this time. And the question I was going to ask was, it's no secret Seth has maybe reinvented or reinvigorated many genre matches over the last few years. Hell in a Cell, Ladder, Gauntlet.
Not gimmick, Lumberjack.
Oh, wow, what a fucking match that was. Even the Gauntlet match and stuff like that. So he's done wonders for a lot of your genre matches. Do you think he's done it here?
Okay, so I do, because I love the way it was paced. What I appreciated about it most was that not only did everything make sense from a story standpoint, but I appreciated that they went completely left of what everybody expected. Like you just saying, you would have liked to see it happen at the end, but that always happens. We've never seen this much shenaniganery at the beginning of an Iron Man match before. So I appreciated that we changed things up. The problem is that with talking about Seth, let's talk about the Lumberjack match, just in general, right? That Lumberjack match, the crowd could have shat on it if they wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a great match, but who knew that the crowd was going to be into that?
Oh,
there's no way of telling.
The stars aligned.
Yeah, exactly. So I say that to say this. Yeah, first time I've said that on show, I'm proud of myself.
That's good. Good going.
This match could have been looked at greatly if people would have went for it, just as much as the Lumberjack match could be looked at negatively if people didn't like it.
Yeah, I do have to ask myself, can I have a proper opinion on the quality of this match when it was fucking spoiled big time by the crowd.
So can we talk about that?
Of course. I mean, I get the whole thing with Roman Reigns and Jinder. It was a bit too much. It was too much. But apparently these sort of protests, or whatever you want to call them, by the fans is because Roman Reigns is in the main event spot or whatever, or Roman Reigns is being pushed. This was Seth Rollins, the internet darling for the 2018.
Preach, please. Because I'm going to go in too, absolutely.
I just think, I don't know why they did it. I don't know if it was a distraction with the timer on the Titantron. I don't know if the timer has been on the Titantron for previous matches.
Every single Ironman match in history.
No, there you go. It's always there. But at least the one thing that did prove to me was that the sort of, you can't even narrow it down to one city or one state. There's just a mindset of fans that at least they're consistent. I think I tweeted this. They are consistent in their douchebaggery.
Yes, I love that. I love that line, by the way. So you said it perfectly. Okay. So I don't like hijacking in general, but I can understand it in certain situations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get that there's a backlash against Roman. I'm a Roman fan, but I can acknowledge that I get the issues that a lot of the issues people have with him. I get it. But if you're gonna hijack a match, like, and I don't want to say hijack a match, but I can understand if you give it you give the match a chance, and then 10, 15 minutes in, it's not doing what you want. Okay, I get that, right? That makes sense, right? I get that. But with the Roman matches recently, pay-per-view matches, the moment the match started, people shat on it.
Mm-hmm. That
pissed me off. So the issues was, I don't think people recognize that a lot of the things that fans are begging WWE to change, they're doing. So you don't want Roman to win the Universal title. He hasn't won the Universal title. You don't want Roman to be in the main event. Well, he main evented with Joe, but he didn't main event with Jinder. He did a main event against Lashley,
yep.
Right? So you want you want Seth to be the guy, right? People are saying Seth should be the guy to beat Brock. Well, Seth had a main event match for a mid-card title, which people want to get more love.
By the way, that was the first IC title match to main event a pay-per-view in 17 years?
17 years, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But let's go one deeper, because the one thing I've heard some people say, Tito being one of them, LOP, is that, well, we didn't want Dolph Ziggler. Well, the reason they gave you this match was because the open challenge match they had, y'all went crazy for that. The rematch that went 30 minutes, people went crazier for that. So you did say you wanted Dolph and Seth. So miss me with that. But what bothers me the most is this notion that, oh, well, we were there too long, and maybe the crowd was tired, and they weren't giving us what we wanted. Well, one, they gave you what you wanted. You just did what you wanted with it. Two, the show ended 30 minutes, just about 30 minutes early, 25 minutes early. Three, it's advertised as a 4-hour, 5-hour pre-show show. So don't buy a ticket and go and complain that it was long. You knew how long it was when you went.
Exactly, when you bought the ticket.
But I put this in a tweet, but I want to say this on air, okay, if you don't mind.
Okay.
A lot of people have an issue, and we just talked about this, me and you, about the fall counts, right? And there's been 16 Ironman matches in WWE, and I'm gonna say the fall counts for all 16. I'm not gonna even say the matches. It's the fall counts. First one, 3 falls to 2. Second one, 3 falls to 2. Third one, which was Michael's Hart at WrestleMania, was 1-0. Cool. Fourth one was 6-5. Fifth one was 4-3. Sixth one was 5-4. Seventh one was 4-3. Eighth one was 2-1. Ninth one was 2-2 and a draw. 10th was 1-1. 11th was 6-5. 12th was 3-2. 13th was 2-1. 14th was 3-2. 15th was 4-3, and then 5-4 last night. then you might say, okay, well, most of those were hour-long matches. Let me tell you the 30-minute scores. Okay? First 30-minute score. First 30-minute Ironman score, 4-3. Second Ironman 30-minute score, 2-2. Third Ironman 30-minute score, 3-2. Fourth Ironman 30-minute score, 2-1. Next one, 3-2. Next one, 4-3. And then this one was 5-4. So a lot of people are saying, well, man, you know they should have waited till the end, and then with 0-0, then have the final, the actual fall in overtime. It's happened once in history.
Mm-hmm.
Every other Ironman match has been absolutely similar to this.
And Kurt Angle decided on the night that it was going to be sudden death as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah, he did, and then I think part of that, yeah. It went tied, and Dolph came out, and he came out. Kurt came out and said, "No, we're not having that way. Sudden death, next fall wins," which is to be expected. Like, we know that, right?
Aye.
And then Drew interfered, so I'm sure Kurt in kayfabe was like, "I want a definitive winner," and then Drew came and screwed him all over. But yeah, but I don't know what people want.
Well, I've got a message for those folk that say it's their money, they can do what they want. This is the last thing we'll talk about, if that's all right, and then I'll kill you with the quiz this week.
I'm looking forward to that.
Are you familiar with pantomimes?
Yes.
So it's like the whole... I'm not sure how popular they are in America, but it's like fairy tale story put onto a big stage aimed at families and kids, where you've got the likes of the Wicked Witch offering Snow White an apple, and they're all going, "Oh no, she's behind you," all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
See if Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the pantomime, and Snow White was getting booed and laughed at, and the Wicked Witch, Maleficent, I'm not sure if that's the right witch, was offering the
Snow White, yeah, Maleficent, yeah,
was offering Snow White the poisoned apple, and all the crowds all the adults were saying, "Yes, fucking poison that cow," and all the kids were saying, "Why? I thought Snow White was a goodie." That's what's going on in the wrestling. You are spoiling it for other people who paid good money to go, and they cost a lot of money. There's kids there that want to enjoy this as well, and they can't because they're getting confused by the stuff that's going on. So I know it's a random analogy bringing pantomime into it, but you see where I'm coming from. If people started cheering Maleficent and doing sort of ironic chants to Snow White, that would ruin the whole ambience of the show.
Sure, but I don't think that's a 100% accurate analogy, only because it's one thing to cheer for the bad guy. It's another thing to cheer for nobody and just want a chant to distract from the match. They're two different things.
Cheer for yourself.
Yeah, like, okay, look, the way WWE has presented their product, they want you to cheer for who you want, right? So if Seth Rollins is facing Roman Reigns, cheer for whoever is one of them you want. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? The bad guys have merchandise. So, sure, that's cool. But that's one thing. It's another thing to say, forget the guys in the match. I'm going to chant about something arbitrary and irrelevant to what they're doing in the ring because I can.
Uh-huh.
And that is the most despicable thing you could do as a wrestling fan, other than jumping in the ring and trying to fight somebody.
Yep. It really spoiled it for me. I know that's a feeling felt by a lot, and if there's anyone that thinks that's great, then fair enough, but I'm not sure why you think that. You're too interested in the fan reaction and a possibly genre-defining match. Do you know what I mean?
There was one positive of it for me. The positive of the hijacking was that the people who finally had a problem with that finally understand what it feels like to be a Roman Reigns fan.
Yes. That's like also now that's the thing. That wasn't
now it's a problem.
It's an issue, and it needs to be addressed. And if it means that Cesaro's going to sprint around the whole arena ripping up beach balls all night long, then so be it. Because I don't think he would tire of doing that, physically tire of doing that. So, I think that concludes the Extreme Rules review. If there is a match I've missed, I can't remember it. It can't have been that.
Well, we didn't talk the pre-show. I don't know if you want to. They were really good matches, but I don't know if they meant anything.
I will be honest, I didn't see them.
Well, go back and watch them because they were really enjoyable matches. Andrade and Sin Cara tried to kill each other, and New Day and Sanity had a very different tables match than what we're used to, and I enjoyed it.
I'll check them out then. I did want to check out the tables match actually, so I will give that a bash, definitely. So, are you ready for the quiz, which I've threatened you with all day?
Well, I kind of feel like Kevin Owens when Vince told him, "Hey, you know what you're doing tonight, right? No, you're flying off the cage." Oh. That's how I feel right now.
Okay, good luck to you.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Right, so I put a bit of planning into this one, and I thought basically the premise of this quiz is going to be anagrams of pay-per-view names, and you have to guess what the anagram is, or what the pay-per-view is from the anagram I give you. So for people listening to this, it might be a bit too hard for them, so I'm going to be nice and actually put a wee link into a Google Doc, shout out to Google Drive and all that stuff, so you can play along at home if you want to. Just click the word quiz in the podcast show notes on whatever app you're using, and there'll be a wee link there for you. And
the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show presented by Google Drive.
That should be a legitimate, what do you call it, sponsor.
Hey, you use Google Drive more than anybody I know, so yes.
I use Google Drive more than I use deodorant.
Oh well, you're Scottish, so. Boom, joking.
The silence is just because I'm trying to load up this thing. I'm not that offended.
Okay, well, I feel better.
Here it is. Right, I'm going to just message you the list of the pay-per-views, right? And we'll talk through them. Because if I just tell you them, it'll be too hard, I think. You need to see the letters.
That's fair. Okay.
So, number 1. Bichromate mainline. Have you got it?
Yeah, but that's a real thing?
It's not a real thing, but it is an anagram. They are real words.
Okay, so my question is... oh, Jesus Christ, I just looked at the list. My question to you is... Are they all of these 2-word pay-per-views, or are they multiple-word pay-per-views?
It's a variety.
Jesus Christ.
And it also includes WCW.
Oh, God.
You're lucky I didn't.
Oh.
You're lucky I didn't add in TNA and Ring of Honor.
Did I offend you at some point?
No.
Did I do anything bad?
Do you know, I was really struggling for an idea with a quiz, and then this all just came together, and I did the evil scientist laugh face thing. So,
okay.
Number 1, bichromate mainline.
Do you have hints? Can I get one hint?
Yeah. This pay-per-view has happened this year. I'll give you 3 clues for each one, right?
Okay.
So, this pay-per-view happened this year. It's one of the...
In the bank.
No.
Shit.
It's one of the gimmick pay-per-views.
Okay, so... Oh, Elimination Chamber.
Well done.
Yeah.
Right, so number 2. Cheetah, as in the fast cat.
Cheetah Sabbath.
Cheetah Sabbath.
It's a African Ozzy Osbourne cover band. Okay, is this WWE?
No, it's not.
It's WCW.
It's WCW.
Okay. There's a lot of H's and B's. So that is. Hold on. Don't give me a hint yet. I don't think I need one yet. This is exhilarating radio, by the way.
Why do you think? See, this is actually why I gave the link out for people to read, because otherwise this would be fucking boring.
We apologize if you guys don't enjoy this part. It's fun for us.
Mm-hmm.
Cheetah Sabbath, bees. So okay, Sold Out is the first pay-per-view. It's not that. Super Brawl, it's not that. Uncensored, no. Spring Stampede, no. What's the main pay-per-view they had? I don't remember. Great American Bash, no.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Wow. Give me a hint. Give me one hint. Yeah, give me one.
Concentrate on the bees. The bees start some of the words.
Bash at the Beach.
Well done.
I knew that there was. I couldn't think of the July pay-per-view. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Number 3. I'm trying to remember this one myself.
And by the way, I think this is a real Daniel Bryan move. The Aberdeen Flintlock Hood.
Now, this one is quite hard. I should have put this at 10. In fact, look at number 10. Fucking hell, good luck to you.
Yeah, man. Well, what pay-per-view is this? What company? WWE or WCW?
WWE. So,
Okay.
Aberdeen Flintlock Hood. The clues are: it was held in a December. Okay.
That's not December to December, is it?
No.
No, yeah, no, yeah.
It had a 30-minute Ironman match. And the last clue is between the first word and the rest of the words, there was a colon.
Between the first word and the rest of the words, there was a colon?
So, December pay-per-view, a 30-minute Ironman match, and there was a colon after the first word. I should have some background music. That doon 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 doon.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yes. Do you give up?
No, I know what it is.
Go for it.
But the reason it took me so long to get it was because of the hyphen. Roadblock?
Yep. Finish it.
Roadblock, end of the line.
That's it.
I had to think about it because the hyphen, but I remembered that's the only pay-per-view I could think of in recent memory that had a subtitle. So yes,
a subtitle. Yes, yes. Sorry. Number 4, Among Dread.
What pay-per-view? I mean, what company is it?
WWE.
Among Dread. This one should be pretty easy. Give me the first hint.
First hint. Let me see. Among Dread. So, used to be a December pay-per-view.
Used to?
Mm-hmm. They've not done it for quite a while. There's a freebie clue for you.
Armageddon.
Yep, well done. Number 5, Armour Belly.
And when he says armor, we're speaking, for those of you who aren't reading this with me, the British spelling of armor with a U.
Oh, that's right.
And this is WWE again?
Yes. Oh, yes, this is WWE.
Oh, okay. When you say it like that, makes me think that it's okay. Give me the first hint.
One of the longest running pay-per-views.
Oh, Royal Rumble. Yeah. Okay.
Royal Rumble. Okay. Number
Yeah,
6.
I see it. No.
Number 6.
Shout out to the big homie Ricky for this one.
A la Echo Woven. A la Echo Woven. WCW.
WCW. Halloween Havoc.
Oh, straight away. Nice one.
Thank you, sir.
Number 7.
Survivor Series. That was easy. That was easy. It's Revisor Viruses is the anagram, but
see
Survivor Series.
The options of anagrams for Survivor Series, not that many.
Not at all.
There was Series Survivor. I could have used that.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have got that at all.
Number 8. Foreign Knight, as in a knight in shining armour. Knight, Foreign Knight.
What company?
WWE.
Okay. Is it still used?
No.
Okay. Foreign Knight. The EIGN is the brain is messing with me. What's the first hint?
Used to be a staple pay-per-view.
King of the Ring?
Yes.
Is that it?
It is.
Okay.
Number 9. Okay. I've got a confession to make. See, right now, I fucking can't remember what it is.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. The one you have one you don't remember. Great.
So, so, for anyone listening, number 9 is now number 10. Number 10 I do remember. Brutus Homoerotic Nuki, spelled Nooky. And so while you try and work that out, Brutus Homoerotic Nuki, I'm going to try and remember what the hell abused Toyota is for number 9. That's right.
Okay,
what company? WWE.
Brutus Homoerotic Nookie. Okay, so this is a very long name. So pay-per-views that have long names, and this is an old pay-per-view or like a more recent pay-per-view. Like, are any these? None of these are like this Tuesday in Texas, right? None of that old shit.
Yeah, that's old.
This one is.
I'll give you a freebie clue. There is a subtitle.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, I remember what number 9 is. Thank Christ for that.
In your house.
Yes. Okay. There.
Okay. In your house. I know that. B. I don't remember all the damn In Your House pay-per-views though.
Well, I give you a good clue.
Okay.
It is the name of someone's finishing move.
Rock Bottom.
Well done.
I was trying to place the B.
Right, so I remember what number 9 is. Abused Toyota.
What company?
WWE. Okay.
Abused Toyota. A Y and Y. Give me one hint. Just one hint.
First clue is fan interaction. Oh, that's too easy a clue, I think.
Fan interaction?
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't really help me.
All right, okay. Second clue is it changed. The format of the pay-per-view changed. No, sorry, the format of the pay-per-view stayed the same, but the name changed after a couple of years.
Oh wow! Yeah, I am blown.
One more clue.
Yeah, please.
Well, I'll just give you the name of the paper. If I give you the name of what the pay-per-view became, that'll give it away. But it's 5 to 12.
Okay, well, don't do that. Don't do that. Tell me, what's the most famous match that happened at this card?
Most memorable, I would say Triple H Ric Flair cage match.
Oh, the Tuesday, Taboo Tuesday.
Correct.
There you go. Oh, Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday. Look at you. I get it.
Look at me.
Yeah. My God. That was fun though. I enjoyed that.
I hope it wasn't too brutal. I think maybe see if you didn't have the letters in front of you, it would have been deadly, wouldn't it?
Oh my god, I'd have been like, screw this.
Uh-huh.
Screw this. Bring back the theme paper. Bring back the the theme questions.
I know.
Because that'd have been hell to try to write that down and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that was fun.
Good.
That was fun.
Glad you enjoyed it. So that brings us to the close of the show. This has been the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. You can catch us at Ricky and Clive on Twitter and Facebook, Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Instagram. Social Suplex Podcast Network has ourselves. I'll leave Rance to do his wee spot. You've got Grown Men Watch This Shit. You have Keeping It Strong Style, and you have One Nation Radio. You can subscribe to the podcasts as well as the columns on socialsuplex.com. There's a subscribe option. Comes straight into your inbox. Please also rate and review with a big whopping 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to check out the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group, where we all are, and other various personalities in the business. Rance, would you like to tell us all your stuff?
No.
Goddamn, pal.
You can find your boy at It's Ray Cash on Twitter, REY as Mysterio, CASH as in $. You can follow the show at Outsiders Edge SS. Give some love to my co-host, my brother, Carl. You can follow him at Outsider Curvin and give some love to, I guess you can say, my other kind of co-host, my Golden Lovers brethren, Kyle Moores at Dr. S'mores. We just posted an episode of the Outsiders Edge, a special episode with just me and Kyle, speaking about pretty much non-WWE stuff, G1, Ring of Honor, All In, New Japan, and NXT. We just posted that yesterday, or this morning actually, so that's out there. Listen to that if you get a chance. And we will have a special episode, traditional episode of Outsiders Edge with me and Carl, which should be out tomorrow. So, yeah, man, I guess you can call this my comeback week, right? I haven't really been on doing much for the past few weeks.
So it should be you that's singing, I'm back, and I'm better than ever.
Well, but then we wouldn't get your melodic voice.
Controversy creates It's Ray Cash.
Boom! I like that. I like that a lot. But no, man, you know I love being on. I appreciate you always having me and stuff, man, so thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you for coming on. A wee shout out to Mags and Bags on Twitter, who has been whoring our show.
That's big homie Darren, yeah.
Yeah, doing a lot of good work for us on Twitter, showing some love, so shout out to yourself, Mags and Bags. I think that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll speak to you next week. Thank you for listening, and good night.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.